Boston's most expensive suburbs and coolest neighborhoods, well, a lot of them aren't worth it. Today, I'm ranking the real best and worst places to live across Greater Boston. Because here's the thing, when you pick the wrong place to live, it's not just about overpaying. You could be stuck with a nightmare commute every day, schools that don't live up to their reputation, or a neighborhood vibe that just doesn't fit how you actually want to live. And once you've signed that lease or closed on that home, those mistakes are tough and expensive to undo. I've lived in both the city and the suburbs, and I've spent almost a decade helping people buy and sell homes across Greater Boston. I've seen what makes families fall in love with their community, and I've also seen the regrets when people chase the hype of an area instead of it being the right fit. That's why I'm pulling back the curtain today. No fluff, no sugarcoating, just straight up tiered list of Greater Boston's best and worst places to live so you can see where the winners are, where the traps are, and which spots might actually surprise you. So let's dive in. Here's how this works. I'm ranking both city neighborhoods and suburbs based on 4 things: affordability versus value, commute and transit, lifestyle, so things like walkability, restaurants, and amenities, and schools or family friendliness. Now, this is my opinion, but it's based on data, real client experiences, and living here myself. So let's start with the bottom tier. These are the places I wouldn't recommend to most people. They might look great on Instagram or have a fancy zip code, but the trade-offs are real. Let's start with a really controversial pick, both Weston and Lincoln. These are long commute suburbs that everyone thinks they want until they actually live there. Don't get me wrong, both towns are absolutely gorgeous. The houses here are stunning, the schools are consistently among the best in Massachusetts, but unless you want to drive everywhere and you don't care about amenities, you'll pay a massive premium for what is essentially a really beautiful place to be isolated. I had a client who moved to Weston thinking it was their dream. They had paid almost $2 million for a house. They had top-ranked schools, peaceful setting. 6 months later, they were calling me because they were going stir crazy. 25 minutes to get to a decent restaurant, 45 minutes minimum to get anywhere mildly interesting. Their teenage kids hated it there because they had nothing to do. And when your biggest entertainment option is driving to Legacy Place, you've got a problem. Next up, parts of the Seaport District. I know this is gonna ruffle some feathers, but hear me out. It looks shiny and new in all the photos, and yes, there are some really great restaurants and more coming in, but the rents are absolutely sky high. I'm talking $4,500 for a 1-bedroom that would probably cost you $3,200 in Back Bay or Cambridge. The neighborhood still feels a bit soulless, like a corporate office park that happens to have apartments, and traffic, forget about it. All it takes is one event at the convention center and you're basically trapped. The kicker, most of my Seaport clients end up spending their weekend in other neighborhoods anyways because that's where the actual culture and community are. You're paying a premium to live in a construction zone that might have some soul someday, but it doesn't yet. C tier, okay, but big trade-offs. These are middle of the road. They're not terrible, but you need to know what you're signing up for. Somerville lands in C tier, and I know that is also going to make some people mad. Look, Somerville has great food, some of the best ethnic restaurants in Greater Boston. The energy is cool, especially around Davis Square, and yes, the new Green Line extension added transit options that make a huge difference. But here's the reality. Prices in Somerville have absolutely shot up. You're now paying Cambridge prices without getting Cambridge level amenities in many parts. And parking can be a complete nightmare. I've watched clients spend 20 minutes every night just looking for a parking spot after work. Now that's obviously dependent on where in Somerville you are, but Somerville used to be the affordable alternative to Cambridge, and now it's as expensive as Cambridge without Harvard Square charm or consistent red line access. Milton also goes here. Lovely houses, decent schools, feels safe and suburban, but the walkability is almost non-existent. You're driving everywhere. And that commute into the city, well, it looks pretty reasonable on paper, but 93 and the Southeast Expressway will grind you down. I've had clients who thought that 25 minutes to downtown sounded great until they realized that the best case scenario is at 6 a.m. Rush hour, you're looking at least 45 minutes to an hour, and that can be soul crushing if you're doing it every single day. If you're watching this because you're planning a move to Boston, There's no need to guess. I have actually put together a free Boston relocation guide that breaks down neighborhoods, costs, and strategies to find the right fit. You can grab it at the link below in the description or scan the QR code on the screen. Make sure you check it out before you make a decision that you might regret. This guide is designed to save you months of research and help you avoid the mistakes that I see people make all the time. All right, let's keep ranking. B tier, solid, but not perfect. B tier neighborhoods and suburbs are solid. They have clear upsides, but you've got to be okay with the trade-offs. Arlington is a perfect B tier example. Good schools, nice neighborhoods, feels safe and family friendly. The downtown area has some charm and decent restaurants, but if you're looking for nightlife or cultural activities, you're gonna be disappointed. And traffic can be absolutely brutal. Route 2 and Mass Ave will test your patience daily. Arlington works great if you want suburban living with reasonable city access, but you need to be okay with a quieter lifestyle. South Boston also lands here. This is great for young professionals. There's energy, good restaurants, bars, a real neighborhood feel that's fun and social. The waterfront areas are beautiful, but let's be real about the downsides. It's not cheap anymore. Parking is a constant battle, and some parts can get pretty rowdy, especially around St. Patrick's Day season. If you're in your 20s or early 30s and want to be where the action is, then Southie works awesome for that. If you're looking for a quieter family life, I would suggest looking elsewhere. A tier, these are the top choices. So these are neighborhoods and suburbs that deliver real value and lifestyle. Places that I see people are consistently happy with their choice to live there. Lexington earns an A status. Yes, it's pricey. Entry-level homes are around $1 million and most are in the $1.5 million and up, but schools are genuinely incredible here. Not just test score good, but well-rounded with amazing programs. The town center is charming, there's history everywhere, and families rarely regret choosing Lexington. The commute is mostly by car, though some people connect through Alewife or use the commuter rail in nearby towns. If you can swing the price, the quality of life is consistently high. Cambridge is A tier for good reason. Walkable, full of culture, amazing restaurants, intellectual energy from Harvard and MIT. You can live here without a car, which is rare in Greater Boston. And yes, the price tag is steep, $3,000 plus for a decent one bedroom, but the lifestyle is genuinely unmatched. You're paying for convenience, culture, and community all in one package. And here's the one that might surprise you. Melrose. This is one of my favorite under the radar suburbs. Good schools without the Lexington price tag, charming downtown with actual restaurants and shops, reasonable train access to the city. It still feels somewhat affordable compared to the more blue chip towns, but it also has that small town charm that people move to the suburbs for. Families love it there, and it's not trying to be something that it's not. S tier, the best of the best. These are the crown jewels, the places people rarely regret choosing. These neighborhoods and suburbs deliver on almost everything. Brookline is S tier, no question. Incredible schools that rival anywhere in the state, unbeatable location with multiple T-stops, real community feel where neighbors actually know each other. Yes, condos start around $700,000 and most single family homes are well over $1 million, but you genuinely get what you pay for. The restaurants along Beacon Street and Coolidge Corner are fantastic. You can walk to Fenway Park. The schools produce kids who go to top-tier colleges. This is where you move when you want that suburban family life without giving up all the urban conveniences. Belmont also earns S-tier status. Amazing schools with a community that truly supports education, strong neighborhood feel where people put down roots for decades, close enough to Cambridge and Boston that you don't feel isolated. It's quieter than Brookline, but with that same blue chip quality. Families move here and stay here, and that tells me everything that you need to know. And here's my wild card S-tier pick, Charlestown. Historic charm that you can't fake with quick access to downtown. We're talking 10 minutes to the financial district. But what makes it S-tier is the real neighborhood vibe. People look out for each other, there are actual community traditions, and you get that small town feeling while being literally minutes from everything Boston has to offer. It's not the cheapest, but compared to other neighborhoods this close to downtown with this much character, it's actually really reasonably priced. So there it is, the complete Greater Boston tier list. Notice a few things here. Some of the most expensive zip codes didn't even crack A tier, while some of the places you might not have considered are sitting in S tier. price doesn't always equal value and hype doesn't always equal happiness. I want to hear from you in the comments. Where would you rank your neighborhood? Did I completely miss the mark on somewhere that you've lived? What areas would you move to S tier or maybe drop from D tier? Let me know below. I read every comment and these discussions help other people make decisions too. But remember, this tier list is just a starting point and it's just my opinion based on the criteria that we've outlined. The best neighborhood for you isn't necessarily the S tier on my list. It's the place that fits your actual lifestyle, your real budget, your daily commute, and your long-term goals. Which brings me to this. Choosing the right place to live is one of the most important decisions you'll make. It affects everything from your daily happiness, your financial future, your family's well-being, your career opportunities. If you're serious about moving to Greater Boston, you don't have to figure this out alone. My team and I help people relocate here every single week. We know which neighborhoods are trending up, which ones have hidden problems, how to time the market, and more importantly, how to match you with a place where you'll actually want to build your life. All my contact information is in the description below to schedule a free call with me and my team. We'll talk you through your priorities, your budget, your timeline, and help you create a strategy that makes sense for your specific situation. No pressure, no sales pitch, just honest guidance from people who know this market inside and out. I genuinely love helping people find their perfect fit in Greater Boston. This area can be incredible when you're in the right spot for your situation and super frustrating when you're not. Let's make sure you end up loving where you land. Now that you know the best and worst places to live in Greater Boston, here's what you need to know next. The types of homes you should never buy in Boston. Because here's what I see constantly. People pick the perfect neighborhood and then buy the wrong house. So if you want to know more about that, check out this video on your screen. We'll break down all the red flags to look for. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.